What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market in Tesla. I want to break down some very important factors for the share price, what I see happening for the long term for the company, as I see some very interesting looking fundamentals and also technicals. And also, I'm going to look at the short term and talk about a very big catalyst that's coming out very soon. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I talk about what this catalyst is for Tesla, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. So anyways, let's talk about what's going on with Tesla. I want to break down something very important. So when it comes to Tesla, this thing was looking relatively weak for the last couple of trading days. And this is no surprise after all the negative headlines that came out involving a potential recall and all these other crazy things. But then on top of that, I just want to mention that we also saw some profit taking at the end of the day, and this was the last trading day, which was Friday for the entire year of 2023. Tesla came down the daily time frame to the 20 EMA at this 248.11 area, looking kind of weak, but in my opinion, this is not going to matter as much because Tesla is going to be reacting to some very important data. So if you look at the weekly time frame on Tesla, I would just want to mention that the weekly is kind of flat right now, looking a little bit weak on the weekly, but the MACD is still kind of flat. We haven't officially lost our 5 EMA, so it's still holding some support, but we're going to be watching this, especially going into next week. So what's the big data for the short term? What's going on with Tesla? As many of you know, Tesla has a tendency of reporting its deliveries in the beginning of every single year. This is going to be reported on either January 1st or the 2nd, and this is going to be massive for Tesla, if anything. So if anything, we're going to be looking at their deliveries to see how it's looking, and it's going to have a big effect on Tesla's share price. So from what I'm seeing, Elon Musk wanted to see 2 million vehicles delivered in the past for 2023, but Tesla came short of that. It's going to likely come short of that, but that's going to be completely okay because Wall Street already adjusted their estimates, if anything. And what's going to matter more is how Tesla does relative to estimates, not how Tesla does to what Elon Musk saw like a year ago, right? That's going to matter a lot more. So according to many analysts from Reuters, they're saying that Tesla's likely going to give us 1.82 million vehicles globally in 2023, up 37% from 2022, with 473,000 units for the fourth quarter. So that's once again going to be strong if Tesla gets numbers like that, but it's going to depend on what the analysts think as well. Now, we're also seeing another analyst known as Troy Teslike, which is very, very funny. It's an interesting name. He expected about 1.8 million vehicles before. He did adjust that just a little bit, but this is going to be very interesting. So he actually broke down all the numbers. I'm going to break this down more. So Tesla delivery estimates for Q4 as it falls on the 8th of December, his estimate was about 477,000. It was 482,000 on November 29th, but it went down just a little bit. The analyst consensus is around 481,000. So he's estimating Tesla's going to come a little bit short, which is going to be no surprise if that ends up being the case because of the demand issues we saw. Tesla went through lots of extremes to get demand back up, from price cuts to more incentives to get those sales. So we'll see if Tesla meets the goal. But I just want to note that historically, Tesla does tend to beat on these and come close to analyst expectations. So let's hope we see something like, let me go back, around 481,000 or so. So I think it's going to be very close. That's what I predict is going to happen too. I think it's going to be somewhere around 480,000. I don't think Tesla's going to smash it with like 490 to 500,000, but who knows? I could be wrong. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then he broke down the numbers specifically right over here. You could just screenshot this if you want. So huge credit to Troy. He did an amazing job. Let's hope Tesla does well. We're also going to be expecting some strong sales in China as deliveries have been up over 20% from the prior week, according to registrations. And numbers are looking very good. Even though Tesla may not reach 2 million in sales, it's not from the lack of trying. It has to do with many different things out there. Once again, if you look at the high interest rate environment, that leads to more costs for consumers and also for Tesla and all these other factors which are affecting them. Could Tesla have reached 2 million? I think they could have gone a lot closer if it wasn't for the high interest rates. But once again, guys, I'm not losing faith in Tesla. I still think Tesla is going to do well for the long term. I'm not really too scared. Now, Troy tends to be very accurate with their projections. So there's a good chance it's going to be close to this. So we'll see how it goes. But the bottom line is this. If we see 490 plus thousand deliveries and Tesla smashes expectations, it's going to easily squeeze back into the 260s, even into the 270s. If Tesla comes short and we get like 200, sorry, not 200, we get a lower number, we do like under that expectation, we do about 470,000 or less. We could see Tesla come back down into the 230s. So just be a little bit careful if there's a sell off. And for the yearly goal, we want 1.8 million. I think it's going to be very close, but I'm not 100% sure. If we get closer to 1.82 million or something higher than that, we could see Tesla push to the upside again. If it's under 1.8 million, that could be bearish. We could see Tesla pull back a bit. So short term, this is going to affect it for January. We actually have all the levels broken down like this. Tesla made an attempt to break out until all the bad news came out. So we're going to be watching that very carefully. Now, I also want to note that when we zoom out of the chart, so I'm going to do is I'm going to delete a lot of these drawings for now and just kind of like start over. I first want to mention that if we go from this bottom right here, this bottom that's well defined from right here, we take a Fibonacci retracement chart. We can actually do it like this. You can see that Tesla hasn't really reached this 0.618 retracement yet, but it is possible for Tesla to try to just like hold up anyways. In my opinion, I think that Tesla's still doing relatively well, still holding support right here. It's been on a strong uptrend for the year. You guys can actually break this down like this. So we're going to be watching this support right over here. If we actually try to connect maybe these trend lines just like this, we're going to be watching to see how well Tesla holds from like right here. Could this drop a little bit more than bounce, or could it just like bounce from here? It most definitely can. So we have this nice uptrend to be watching for at least from the past couple of weeks. But now I just want to kind of like delete this and kind of zoom out even more and show you guys the much bigger picture. So for the short term, it's hard to predict. It depends on deliveries. I can't really predict that with high accuracy. Depends on deliveries. But if we zoom out more onto Tesla's chart, you're going to notice something very interesting. So Tesla had this channel that was developing, and we're on the verge of getting some kind of breakout. So it's looking pretty good right here. So if you actually take this trend line like this, you actually draw out this resistance Tesla saw, we're attempting to break out of this resistance, which is looking pretty darn good. But it doesn't guarantee anything until we see deliveries. So we had this like bearish looking channel that was developing right here. When you zoom out of the charts, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure right here. You guys can see this right here. We have this head down here, the left shoulder here, right shoulder forming. But if anything, I think that, and this is my view of Tesla, guys, to be honest with you, I think Tesla's going to run more, not in the first half of 2024, but in the second half. I think the second half is when we're going to see a lot of growth. I think that Tesla could quickly price in a lot of potential downside, the recession, and things like that with the markets during the first half of the year. Okay. So is it possible for Tesla to retrace these levels? Yes, it could retrace a little bit more. But don't talk about 150, 180 a share until we break below 200. We haven't done that yet. So we're going to be watching this very carefully to see if Tesla maintains this channel again, if we return into this. And if it does, I mean, it could still break out very strongly in the second half of 2024. I think that's when it's going to be approaching these all-time highs again. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I can't really predict this perfectly for the short term. It depends on different factors. But even if a Tesla does kind of like retrace a bit, trade sideways, consolidate a bit with the markets, going into the second half of the year, I think there's going to be a massive short squeeze. I think this because Tesla's going to start not only announcing some strong earnings, I think that Tesla is going to start announcing more developments with their external factors. And I think that the robotaxi developments with AI are going to start to get priced in. And we could see a very euphoric rally, at least towards the year end for Tesla. And I think it's going to be pumping very nicely during the second half of the year. And it's going to start pushing very, very strongly, very, very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if we make our way back into the 300s or even the 400s by the end of the year, back to new all-time highs like this. Because you could see we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. I think new all-time highs are going to be coming before 2025 even starts. So once again, I'm very bullish. I think we have a nice inverse head and shoulders, and I think that We're going to start off with the period of consolidation. It may even be kind of weak for Tesla for the first half, possibly because of the recession, factors like that. Second half is going to be stronger, in my opinion. And then also for like the really short term, for like January, I can't really predict it. It depends on deliveries, but I think Tesla will do well, and I think that there's more upside coming. So I can break down much more detail about like technicals and things like that, but I just want to mention that Tesla has immense potential. It is not necessarily the end of the world for the company. And I think that there's going to be an immense growth coming going into next year. I also want to call out that Tesla hits the 0.618 retracement, came a little bit below it before it bounced already, at least when you draw the Fibonacci retracement from there. So it's in a good place. I mean, it could maintain this range for a little bit longer if we do get a rejection after deliveries, hypothetically. But then I expect a very, very big bounce, big growth for the second half of the year. And I think Tesla is going to squeeze very hard alongside the market. And I think that new all-time highs are going to be coming before this time next year. That's my view of Tesla, guys. I think we're going to see a very euphoric squeeze. Have a great day. Hopefully this video was helpful, and get ready for Tesla's deliveries, which are going to be coming out very soon. Thanks again, guys, and peace out.